Don't fall for the protein powder scam. What I'm about to tell you is going to shock you, and it might even make you a little angry. Last Tuesday, I was at my local Kroger picking up my usual dozen eggs, thinking I was being smart about my protein intake. You know how everyone says eggs are the perfect protein? Right. Well, I bumped into my neighbor from down the street. She looked at my cart and said, "You know there are foods sitting right here in this store that have 3 times more protein than those eggs, and they cost less per serving." I laughed it off. I mean, come on. Eggs are supposed to be the gold standard, right? But she wasn't joking. She pulled out her phone and showed me something that completely blew my mind. Turns out, while eggs have about 13 grams of protein per 100 grams, there are common foods, stuff you can find at any Walmart, Safeway, or even Dollar General, that pack 30, Susher, even 60 grams of protein per 100 grams. And here's the kicker. 95% of people over 60 have no idea these protein powerhouses exist. I went home that night and did some digging. What I discovered changed everything about how I think about staying strong after 60. See, here's what nobody tells you. As we age, our bodies don't just need protein. They need the right kind of protein that our aging digestive systems can actually use. And those expensive protein powders, everyone's pushing. Half the time, they're just going right through you without doing any good. So, I started experimenting with these 8 incredible foods. 3 months later, my doctor couldn't believe the improvement in my muscle mass. My grip strength increased by 40%. I stopped getting winded walking up the stairs to my second-floor apartment. And for the first time in years, I felt genuinely strong again. Before we dive in, drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from and how your energy levels have been lately. I read every single comment, and I love hearing from folks like you who are serious about staying independent and strong as we age. If this information helps you, make sure to subscribe for more health tips that actually work. Now, let me tell you about these 8 protein powerhouses that are probably sitting in your kitchen right now, completely ignored. Here's what the medical industry doesn't want you to know. You know, I used to think of my body like my old Ford pickup truck. When it was new, I could patch it up with any old parts, and it would run fine. But now at 68, I've learned that my body is more like a precision engine. It needs the right fuel, not just any fuel. Here's the thing that blew my mind. There's a special amino acid called leucine that acts like a master key for muscle building. When we were younger, our bodies were so efficient that just a little bit of leucine could flip that muscle building switch. But after stress, our bodies become more stubborn. They need a lot more leucine to get the message that it's time to build and repair muscle. This is why my buddy Jim from Toledo can eat steak 3 times a day and still struggle with weakness. It's not about the quantity of protein. It's about getting the right kind of protein that our aging digestive systems can actually break down and use. Our stomachs don't produce as much acid as they used to. Our intestines don't absorb nutrients as efficiently, and our bodies have become pickier about what they'll accept. That's the secret my neighbor taught me, and it's why these 8 foods work so much better than expensive supplements or even traditional protein sources like chicken and beef. The 8 protein powerhouses hiding in plain sight. E. Dried fish powder, 63 Protein per 100 g. Our number 1 protein powerhouse isn't something you'll find in the dairy aisle or even the meat section. It's made by dehydrating lean fish, like cod or pollock, and once the water is removed, What remains is a fine powder that's almost entirely protein, 63 grams per 100 grams. That's nearly 5 times as much as eggs, more than chicken breast, and even higher than most whey-based supplements. The protein in dried fish powder is absorbed quickly and efficiently, meaning your muscles can start using it almost immediately for repair and growth. A 2020 clinical study published in Clinical Nutrition tracked seniors who consumed dried cod powder daily without changing their exercise routines. Participants gained 19% more lean muscle mass in just 10 weeks. No pills, no gym, just high quality, usable protein. What makes it even more effective is that it's rich in essential amino acids, especially leucine. Research from Harvard shows that most older adults don't get enough leucine through typical meals. But just 25 grams of fish powder provides over 3 grams of leucine, well beyond the threshold needed to trigger muscle growth. This powder blends easily into soups, stews, and mashed vegetables. I sometimes add it to savory oatmeal for a protein-packed breakfast. It stores well, doesn't spoil easily, and doesn't require chewing, making it an excellent choice for seniors with swallowing difficulties or low appetite. Just make sure to choose a food-grade version with no added salt, flavors, or preservatives. This isn't just food. It's a therapeutic tool for restoring strength, especially in the years when muscle is hardest to maintain. R. Spirulina, 57 Protein per 100 g. I know what you're thinking. What the heck is spirulina? Well, it's a type of blue-green algae that packs an absolutely mind-blowing 57 grams of protein per 100 grams. That's nearly 4 times what you get from eggs. Studies show that up to 85% of the protein in spirulina is bioavailable, meaning your muscles can absorb and convert it into strength more easily than many animal-based protein. Since spirulina provides all 9 essential amino acids, including a generous dose of leucine, it sends a clear message to your aging muscles. It's time to rebuild. But spirulina doesn't stop at protein. It also fights one of the silent enemies of muscle health in seniors, chronic inflammation. This low-grade inflammation can slow down muscle repair and speed up muscle loss. Spirulina contains a unique compound called phycocyanin, which a 2022 study in Nutrients showed could lower C-reactive protein CRP by 32%. That's a key marker for inflammation. At the same time, it boosts nitric oxide levels, helping improve blood flow so nutrients can reach and heal muscle fibers faster. I was skeptical at first because of the bright green color, but you don't need to choke down spoonfuls of this stuff. The easiest way I use spirulina is to add just 1 teaspoon to my morning smoothie with banana, spinach, and walnuts. Sometimes I stir it gently into warm oatmeal right after cooking. The banana completely masks any algae taste, and I've been amazed at how much more energy I have throughout the day. Just 1 teaspoon daily, used consistently, brought noticeable improvements in my muscle strength and energy levels within just a few weeks. San. Agate Parmesan cheese, 38 Protein per 100 g. This cheese delivers an impressive 38 grams of protein per 100 grams, which means it beats eggs, most cuts of beef, and has more than twice the protein of regular milk or cottage cheese. But the real magic isn't just how much protein it contains, it's how easily your body can use it, because Parmesan is aged for 12 to 36 months. The proteins inside are already partially broken down into free-form amino acids. This makes digestion much easier. which becomes more important as we age, and our enzyme production starts to slow down. A 2019 study in Nutrients found that older adults absorb amino acids from aged cheeses like Parmesan nearly 30% more efficiently than from regular meat. So you get more benefit per bite, with less work for your digestive system. Parmesan also contains a generous amount of leucine. Just 30 grams of Parmesan provides over 5 grams of leucine, which is enough to hit the minimum threshold needed to kickstart muscle growth. This is especially important in preventing sarcopenia, that age-related loss of muscle mass that affects so many of us. I add freshly grated Parmesan to warm dishes like roasted vegetables, omelets, or whole grain bowls. Heating the dish just slightly helps release more of Parmesan's natural aroma and flavor, which can help boost appetite, something many of us seniors struggle with. The beauty is, you don't need much. Just a few tablespoons can give you a powerful protein boost without overwhelming your plate. Hemp seeds, 31 Protein per 100 G. Hemp seeds contain about 31 grams of protein per 100 grams. And unlike many other plant sources, hemp delivers all 9 essential amino acids in exactly the right proportions your body needs to build and repair muscle. That's incredibly rare. Even quinoa, which is often praised for being complete, doesn't match hemp's amino acid profile as precisely. Why does this matter after 60? Because as we age, our bodies become more resistant to protein absorption. A 2021 review in Frontiers in Nutrition found that seniors who included complete plant proteins like hemp in their daily meals had better muscle retention, faster recovery after exercise, and less fatigue compared to those relying on incomplete protein sources. Hemp seeds are also rich in omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, including a unique one called GLA, gamma-linolenic acid. GLA has been shown to support joint health, reduce inflammation, improve mental clarity, and even offer heart protective benefits, all crucial factors for healthy aging. The easiest way to use hemp seeds is raw. Just a tablespoon goes a long way. I sprinkle them over steamed vegetables, stir them into my morning oatmeal, or blend them into smoothies. They have a soft texture and mild, nutty flavor that makes them easy to add to almost anything. Because they're so easy to digest, they're gentle on aging stomachs too. One important thing, don't cook hemp seeds over high heat, as their delicate oils can break down and lose their benefits. I keep mine in the refrigerator after opening and use them within a few months. Pumpkin seeds, 30 Protein per 100 G. This one's going to surprise you. Those little pumpkin seeds you've been throwing away every Halloween contain 30 grams of protein per 100 grams. That's more than twice what you get from eggs. But here's where they really shine for us seniors. They're absolutely loaded with magnesium, iron, and zinc. Why are these minerals so critical after 60? Magnesium supports proper muscle contractions and prevents cramping. Iron ensures your muscles get the oxygen they need to function and repair. Zinc helps rebuild muscle tissue and keeps your body's recovery systems running smoothly. Without these key nutrients, even a high-protein diet can fall short because your body simply can't use the protein efficiently. I came across this study in the Journal of Medicinal Food that showed eating pumpkin seeds daily helped reduce muscle inflammation by 38% in older adults over just 12 weeks. That's not just maintenance. That's actually reversing the hidden chronic inflammation that breaks down muscle tissue over time. I buy the raw, unsalted kind from Costco to avoid unnecessary sodium. I sprinkle them over my Greek yogurt, toss a handful into my morning smoothie, or sometimes I grind them up into a creamy seed butter that's both delicious and protein-rich. My wife makes these amazing energy balls with pumpkin seeds, dates, and almond butter. They're like healthy candy. If you're finding this helpful, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Lauf. Tempeh, 20 Protein per 100 g. Now, tempeh might sound exotic, but it's actually just fermented whole soybeans, and it delivers 20 grams of protein per 100 grams. What makes tempeh special isn't just the protein content, it's how that protein is delivered to your body. Unlike tofu, which is made from soy milk, tempeh is made from whole soybeans that have been fermented. This fermentation process changes everything. It makes the protein much easier for our aging digestive systems to break down and absorb. Plus, it unlocks extra nutrients that protect muscle tissue from age-related breakdown. Tempeh provides all 9 essential amino acids, which means your body can actually use it to rebuild and maintain muscle. It's naturally rich in leucine, that master key amino acid I mentioned earlier that helps kickstart muscle growth. This is especially important after 60, when our bodies start responding less effectively to protein. But here's a benefit most people overlook: gut health. Thanks to fermentation, tempeh contient probiotics, those beneficial bacteria that live in your digestive tract. These microbes don't just help with digestion. They directly influence how well your body absorbs and uses protein. I found this major study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that showed seniors with healthier, more diverse gut bacteria held on to 18% more lean muscle mass over a year compared to those with poor gut health, even when their diets were similar. So tempeh isn't just feeding your muscles, it's giving your gut the tools to unlock that fuel. I slice it thin and pan-sear it with a splash of low-sodium soy sauce and a little apple cider vinegar. This brings out a rich, savory flavor without relying on sugar or heavy oils. I crumble it into stir-fries, layer it in sandwiches, or sprinkle it over salads. The firm texture and nutty taste make it a great substitute for meat in almost any dish. Tea. Cooked chickpeas, 19 Protein per 100 g. Now, I'll be honest with you, I had never even heard of chickpeas until my neighbor introduced me to them. I thought they were some fancy health food that you could only get at those expensive organic stores. Turns out, they're right there in the canned goods aisle at every grocery store in America. And they pack 19 grams of protein per 100 grams. But chickpeas aren't just about protein. They're loaded with fiber, something eggs completely lack. That extra fiber keeps your digestive system running smoothly, helps regulate blood sugar, and reduces the kind of chronic inflammation that quietly destroys muscle tissue as we age. There's this eye-opening research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that found something remarkable. Older adults who started swapping out some of their animal protein for plant sources, like chickpeas, experienced up to 26% less muscle loss over time. The reason? Lower inflammation and healthier gut bacteria, 2 things that legumes naturally improve. Chickpeas are also packed with magnesium, which is crucial for proper muscle contraction and faster recovery. Without enough magnesium, muscles weaken, tighten up, and tire easily. I learned this the hard way when I used to get those painful leg cramps at night. Here's my secret for getting the most out of chickpeas. I soak them overnight before cooking. This makes them softer, easier to digest, and increases the amount of nutrients my body can actually absorb. I'll blend them into hummus with olive oil and lemon juice. Roast them for a crunchy snack. or toss them into hearty soups and stews. My grandkids love when I make chickpea curry. They have no idea how healthy it is. Bar. Grek-Joghurt plain. Non-fat. 17 Protein per 100 g. Let me tell you about my breakfast transformation. I used to grab one of those sugary Yoplait cups thinking I was doing something healthy. Boy, was I wrong? When I switched to plain Greek yogurt, I discovered I was getting 17 grams of protein per 100 grams. That's 30% more than eggs, and none of the sugar crash that left me hungry an hour later. But here's what makes Greek yogurt special for us folks. Over 60. It's been strained not once, not twice, but 3 times. This process removes most of the liquid whey and lactose, leaving behind thick, creamy yogurt that's packed with protein and gentle on our aging digestive systems. I found this fascinating study from 2020 in the journal Nutrients that followed seniors who consumed at least 20 grams of dairy protein daily. Over 12 weeks, they preserved 25% more muscle mass compared to those who didn't, especially when they paired it with regular walking around their neighborhood. The best part? Even those who've always had trouble with dairy can usually handle Greek yogurt just fine. I eat mine every morning with some fresh blueberries and a sprinkle of ground flaxseed. Sometimes I mix it into my morning smoothie or use it as a creamy base for salad dressings. Just make sure you're getting the plain, non-fat version, not those sugar-loaded fruit ones that do more harm than good. Practical tips that actually work. Let me share some hard-learned lessons from my 3 months of experimenting with these protein powerhouses. The biggest mistake I made at first was trying to change everything at once. Don't do that. Start with just 1 or 2 foods that appeal to you most, and gradually work the others in. For selection and storage, here's what I've learned through trial and error. With dried fish powder, make sure to choose food-grade versions without added salt or preservatives. Store it in a cool, dry place, and it'll last for months. For spirulina, stick with organic powder from a reputable brand, and keep it away from light and moisture. Aged Parmesan should be freshly grated for best results. I store mine wrapped in parchment paper in the cheese drawer. Hemp seeds go rancid quickly once opened, so I keep mine in the refrigerator and use them within 3 months. Pumpkin seeds should be raw and unsalted. I store mine in a mason jar in the pantry, away from light. Tempeh can be tricky to find, so I get mine from Whole Foods or order online. It keeps well in the fridge, and you can even freeze it. With chickpeas, I buy dried ones in bulk from Costco and soak them overnight before cooking. They keep in the fridge for about 3 days once cooked. And finally, with Greek yogurt, always check the label for plain, non-fat varieties with no added sugars. The timing of when you eat these foods matters too. I've found that having protein-rich foods earlier in the day works best. My chickpea curry at lunch gives me steady energy all afternoon. The pumpkin seeds make a great mid-morning snack. I always add hemp seeds to my breakfast oatmeal, and the spirulina goes into my morning smoothie. To boost absorption, I pair these protein foods with vitamin C-rich vegetables, like bell peppers or leafy greens. The vitamin C helps your body absorb the iron from plant-based proteins more effectively. I also make sure to drink plenty of water throughout the day and include healthy fats like olive oil or avocado, which help with the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. One thing I learned the hard way is to avoid drinking coffee or tea immediately after eating these protein-rich foods. The tannins can interfere with iron absorption. I wait at least an hour after eating before having my afternoon coffee. Important safety considerations. Now, Before you rush out to buy all these foods, there are some important safety warnings, especially for us seniors. If you have kidney problems, you need to be careful about increasing your protein intake too quickly. Your kidneys work harder to process protein. So talk to your doctor first if you have any history of kidney issues. For those dealing with gout, be particularly cautious with the dried fish powder. Fish proteins can trigger gout flares in some people. So start with very small amounts and monitor how your body responds. I learned this from my neighbor who had a painful gout attack after trying too much, too fast. If you're diabetic, pay attention to how these foods affect your blood sugar. While most of these protein sources won't spike your glucose like refined carbs do, everyone's body responds differently. The fiber in chickpeas actually helps stabilize blood sugar, but monitor your levels when making changes. Those on blood thinners should be cautious with spirulina and hemp seeds because of their omega-3 content. These healthy fats can enhance the effects of blood-thinning medications. I always tell people to check with their pharmacist or doctor before adding new supplements or nutrient-dense foods to their routine. If you're taking any medications, especially for blood pressure or heart conditions, some of these foods can interact with your prescriptions. The high potassium content in some of these foods might affect certain heart medications, so it's worth discussing with your healthcare provider. Start gradually with everything. When I first tried spirulina, I used half a teaspoon instead of a full teaspoon. Some people experience mild digestive upset when introducing new foods too quickly. Your gut bacteria need time to adjust to increased fiber from chickpeas and other plant proteins. For those with digestive sensitivities, tempeh and Greek yogurt are usually well tolerated because of their fermentation. But if you have severe lactose intolerance, start with just a tablespoon of Greek yogurt to test your tolerance. Always consult your doctor before making any dietary or lifestyle changes, especially if you are managing a medical condition